Jeff Koenig, Property Prep, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back here for our weekly Friday video. I had a problem with the Milwaukee 1505 Fastback knife. Great idea, not such a great execution. We have a video that we'll link above that shows the faults of that knife and what I think is great. I found another solution online, and that's the Klein. And this is the FLICKBLADE model. Klein traditionally makes American-made tools that are designed for electricians, but they also have some import tools. I don't imagine that this is American-made, but we'll put in the comments if it is. This is a competitor. It feels a little bit heavier, but I wanted to try it out because I was just so disappointed in some of the features of the Milwaukee. And I'm going to talk about this knife particularly. And this is a utility blade versus the Milwaukee, and what I like better about this and what I like less about this, and then give you an update after carrying this for about a week. This is a standard flick open with a button on the side, and it has a little bit of gating around the button that we press to deploy the blade. The blade that it came with is fine. I will link down in the description for this knife to purchase it, as well as for my favorite blades to use on these. I have two favorite types of blades depending on what you're doing. This also has a wire stripping feature right here. It's a little bit different shape than the Milwaukee, I assume for patent reasons, but I believe that this is probably superior, although I have not used it, for electricians because Klein specializes in dealing with electrical tools and components. Another difference is the pocket clip. This is a solid piece of spring steel, whereas the Milwaukee is the looped type. I do like the Milwaukee better for what we do because this kind of clip that comes to a point and has sharp metal and is not a piece of wire can snag on things and cause scratches to finished surfaces as we're working. So I think Milwaukee gets a point there, but I think on the rest of the knife it's very comparable. I will note that when you do press this button to collapse it, it does have this, I think it's 135 degree, and this is a great way to remove carpet, to cut shingles, and to do other tasks that will avoid bumping your knuckles. There are specialized blades for this that a lot of trades carry, but if you don't do those things often or you can't afford more than one knife, this is a unique feature, and Milwaukee does not have that feature. If we click it again, we have no detent in the 90 degree, but I don't think that you would ever use a knife in a 90 degree. I do think the 135 degree is superior, and the Klein definitely gets points over the Milwaukee for that. It does lock back in and will not deploy without pushing the button, and you can flick it or push the button and open it this way. The other difference between the Klein and the 1505 is the Klein lacks interior storage. I assume, again, that's for patent reasons, but the Milwaukee really gets the edge on the blade storage internally. There is no place to keep another blade on this. You can just flip your blade around, but it is nice to always have a second blade just in case you're doing some tough tasks. I know we had huge floods here in Milwaukee about a month ago, and I went to an emergency call, wasn't carrying extra blades on my truck, and used both sides of my blade, and was stuck using a dull blade the rest of the day. So having that extra blade is really a key feature, and I wish Klein would incorporate that on this product. The big differentiator and why I don't like the Milwaukee, if you've watched my other video, I'd encourage you to watch that first and then come back here, is the driver. The Klein is also a liner lock. It does stop at 90 degrees, although it is not locking at 90 degrees. It does lock in line, and it is a very natural feel. The unique part of this is there is what we call an apex. This is an impact rated driver that would go into your 1/4 inch shank on your impact driver, and then it will accept 1/4" bits of any type. That's nice, but the issue that you'll see here is that you do get some wobble and play, which is not ideal. The other negative for this is you don't get the same bit selection as you do with the Milwaukee. You can put whatever you want in here, but the Milwaukee had a double-sided bit, which had a number 2 Phillips and a slotted on the other side. That was also part of the problem though with the Milwaukee, because it required this ball detent that kept the bit in, and this does not have that ball detent that tended to break. So I do think that this is a superior design, but going forward I'm probably going to remove this because I don't get much play here, and then either go with a stubbier bit so that there's absolutely no play except in the bit, or I'm going to replace this with a 2" or 1.5" impact rated bit, number 2 Phillips, so that we can remove the apex, which I think is unnecessary. It weighs a lot more than another bit does, and there are 2 pieces here versus 1 piece. So I do think that this is a superior design to the Milwaukee, and I think Milwaukee needs to take notes on how this is done and improve their version, which was my chief complaint with the Milwaukee tool.
Write that down, write that down!
This is heavier. I think that if you were to combine the 2 tools, you would have the perfect handyman, blue collar, around the house kind of emergency multi-tool style utility knife, but unfortunately there is no amalgamation of those currently. I have talked to the Milwaukee tool reps and they are aware of the problem, but have not come up with a process to rectify that. So I think from now on, I'm going to be using the Klein tools, and I think it is probably a superior design. They're both around the same price, can be had for $20 approximately on Amazon, and I think that this is, I think this is the ticket. So just remember to wear your eye protection when you're using this, and next week we're gonna have a really exciting video about a project we've been working on all year. It's a fire restoration of a multi-use building. We redid 3 of the units from the studs to beautiful finished apartments. They're almost all rented at this point. We're going to show you the interior, exterior, mechanicals, and go through the entire process with you. We hope that you make the switch from watching the tool videos, which you love, to watching some of our longer form content, which shows off our business and our capabilities, and think about engaging with us on some of the stuff that makes our business money and isn't only my hobby like tools are. We really appreciate the support. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. If you'd like, subscribe, leave a comment, and make sure to watch the complete video. It would mean the world to us, and we'll see you next Friday for an incredible video of the transformation of a fire damaged building. Have a great weekend.